Do it. Remember, this is a verbal culture, not a visual culture. You may think you've got a smartphone in your hand, but when your battery goes down, you've got nothing to say. Okay, you may text, you may think that's a conversation, but let me say to you, in whatever language you choose, that this is a farce. This is a farce because it is pollution, toxic pollution, spray can for children, curling up the ozone layer, and you look at the lovely colors and think, oh, what a mess. You look at the trash bin, look at that, that's a mess. You look at the spray painted tree, what a mess. You look at that pipe along here, spray painted, what a mess. You look at this beautiful bush over here, what a mess. And you come here because we love mess. We make cities that are full of pollution. We make bigger cities with bigger pollution. We make progress, there's pollution. It's beautiful art, and it's unframed, and it's free, but it will not be for long. They're going to take this and make that. Over there, those squares and rectangles, that's going to come over here. You will be gone. You won't be allowed here anymore. It'll all be, sorry, we used to have freedom, but not anymore. Once upon a time, you could be. They say that about old Austin. It's a lie. You can never be free in Austin. There's always got to be a permit or a rule or a regulation saying you can be free, but not here, not now. You know, you're welcome to take photographs, but you can't. Well, they do. They sell their stuff. Look at that. Ha! It's a fraud. It's a fake. It's a fantasy. It's a franchise.
I mean, it's an art, right? Like people have their own rights to express their emotions, right?
Happily, temporarily,
Hope
yes.
Gallery, they've given them a space
Yes.
to be able to do that.
For a very short time.
Yeah, I mean.
So we know how
Fleeting,
delicate.
because the next day, I was like, I photographed something and like the next day it was covered over with something else. Yeah.
Freedom is as temporary as dreaming. You wake up one day with a dream. Martin Luther King said, I had a dream, and they shot him. You know? So there's a lesson there somewhere. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for responding. Thank you for being. There we go. That's the start.
Exactly.
Response, baby. Response.
I love to find because I have to share because this is what I brought to Raid from book. So I thought I will do this one called Helping Men in Public Places. So it was New Year's Eve and we were standing on 42nd Street and the Avenue of the Americas. We were just a few blocks away, but we had just the right view of Times Square. And yes, there was freezing rain, but I didn't really care since it was New York and I was there for only a few days and it was 10:55. We still had a long time to wait, standing with I don't know how many thousands of other people. Some of them were climbing up the light poles. All of us were pushing forward onto the street despite the police officers on horseback rushing at us to go toward the sidewalk. And our paper bag fell apart in the rain, so I let the glass water bottle fall to the curb, and our friend told me that he had to go to the bathroom real bad, you know. So I told him to go right here in the street, no one will see him. And he told me that he didn't want to piss on somebody's shoes, so he asked if I had a bottle. So I picked up the water bottle from the curb, and when he was finished with his job, he closed up the bottle and put it back on the sidewalk. God, and you. I remember you getting on the train right after the ball dropped in New York, more rain and a bottle of champagne later, saying you had to go real bad too. So I pulled an empty beer bottle from my coat bucket. You covered up the train window with your coat, and so you could take care of the business at hand. And I'm amazed that that bottle didn't tip over on the train ride during our hour-long commute, our first of the new year, while I slept on your shoulder. And I'm amazed that I ended one year and began another, helping men I know in public places piss into bottles. This was called I Want. My papers. This is the poetry bomb. You can't see it because my paper keeps falling over. Poetry bomb, because this is just something you do. It's all I want. I want a big house with filtered central air, and I want a big lawn so I can recreate nature. And I want a big fence so I'll know what's mine. And I want the evergreens trimmed into nice little balls because it has to look neat. Plant everything in a row. And I want to be able to spray chemicals on my lawn to keep the dandelions away. You hear it. And I want the big plastic lobster bib over my fancy dress at the fancy restaurant. And don't forget the $100 champagne. And I want a big fat car. And I want someone else to drive it. I want the 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. And I want a nanny to take care of them for me. I want to be famous. I want everyone to love me. I want it. I want it all. You were doing nature stuff, so I'm going to share the nature one because we're here. This is called Last Before Extinction. Now he has so many opportunities. He has nothing to lose. Why not come out of the wilderness, attack everything it sees, kill something, suck the blood out, make him feel alive for once more, let them try to restrain him. He has nothing to lose. And for now, it can fly to the highest redwood, look out over the world, despise the world that made him alone, leaving him alone. Who will carry his name? Who will care for him when he was old? Who can he read bedtime stories to? Now, it can feel death creeping upon him closer and closer. He wants to scream. He calls upon nature. The tides rise. Earthquakes shatter homes. He does not feel vindicated. He has lost. And for now, she can swim to the deepest, darkest cave in the Pacific, hide from the solitude, swim lower and lower. Can she find where all of the other animals of dying species hide? Can she find them? There must be others. They could live together at the bottom of the earth. Could they show their pain for their species, share what is left of their love, create a new race? Soon there will be no more. And we will be taking their bones, reassembling them, studying their form, rebuilding their lives, revering them more than we ever did in life. This is what it all becomes. This is what it all boils down to. Study the mistakes. Study the bones. Study the mistakes. Get on up here, my love. Come on, darling.
Rare occurrence here.
What?
People. I've got an astronomy piece here.
Oh, yay!
yeah.
Oh, you got your rocks.
This is a rare one, huh?
Yay!
And Janet always does this because I always say I say things and then she turns them into poems.
That's very wise of her.
She wore a necklace with planet Earth hanging from it. It jingles like a wind chime in the breeze when she walks. Her earrings, a silver sphere with a hoop around each one. I said, you look like a solar system. Planet Earth, with 2 Saturns hanging from your ears. No, Neptunes. The hoops were vertical like Neptune, not flat like Saturn's. Your eyes are like stars in the deep, dark. Neptune is blue when seen through a telescope, she said. These are silver. But when the naked eye looks out at Neptune, it appears silver in the night, I said. Like your earrings. Neptune is the only planet that cannot be seen from planet Earth with the naked eye, she said.
Huge.
It is 6 times dimmer than the dimmest star.
Wow.
Which means it's many times brighter than you. Tell me again, why do you love me?
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Did you write that? Oh my gosh!
John, that is really wonderful.
Oh my gosh!
That is
That
just
is something that was amazing!
sure. That is so
You
cool.
got your stone! You got your stone to know where to go!
Hey John, hey Janet, I always look on the bright side of things. That's why I stare into the sun. That's why my eyes are artificial sockets. I've had these bionic eyes ever since I was born in my previous lifetimes. Used to be a rock, but once upon a time I just rolled down the hill and became an avalanche. You understand how important it is to not be important. A lot of people want to be. I prefer not to be. I prefer nothingness. I like nothingness. I like a lot of nothingness. I like so much nothingness that adds up to not necessarily something. but it adds up to nothing much, like a zero. Like a lot of people into ones, like I don't want to be number one. Well, I'm not a digital person. I'd rather just be a zero, but not even just a zero. I'd like to be the zero that was discovered by the Arabic numerologist who made out of astrology a mathematical system, right? You think it was the fingers on your hand? No. You think it was a Sumerian accountancy form? No. You think it was just a number system that came out of the blue? No. It came from zero. Zeno. Zero. I love nothingness.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to go back and forth like that, and I'm going to have to, and I just moved a rock. All right. That was a great poem, John. Did you just write that?
He did yesterday.
At the open
That blows my mind. All right.
Should.
Because I got two short ones. You can see in this book, as it's open, as you people look, it's not much on the page. I'm going to do two.
Okay.
And then bring it over to you again. This one, I'm going to do Warren stories first. Warren stories. You would just tell me these things over the phone. Warren stories. I heard this story about a fat woman who sat naked on a pork chop bone once and didn't notice when it lodged itself amongst her folds of fat. Years later, when she felt a sharp pain and the doctors couldn't figure out what it was, they opened her up and found the pork chop and realized that her skin just eventually grew over it. That was a crazy thing about Warren. He would tell me these stories, and that was how I had a rock band, and that became the band Mom's Favorite Bass, because he thought, that's a Brady Bunch story. Kids don't play ball in the house because you'll break Mom's favorite. And I never watched the Brady Bunch, but I'm like, that's funny. I'll do that. This one's called Kurt Irons. It's just a girl. Kurt Irons, while drinking, drove a stolen truck straight into another truck and killed a woman. According to police reports, Kurt Irons was surprised by the arrest, by the fact that he was charged with vehicular homicide. Kurt Irons was quoted as saying, "Dudes, it's just a girl, man. It's a girl. Nothing but a girl." And you need a prop. Don't spray it. Just hold it. Oh, he's like, no, won't do it, won't do it. Won't do it. I'll put it back.
It may not occur to you, visitors, but I listen to you and I watch you. And I realize why you're here. It's to eat the ice cream of life. That's why you're here, because it's Sunday, you're wearing colourful t-shirts, you're smiling friends, and you're hanging around a good scene where nothing really matters. But if I opened your eyes to the trash on the ground, and the trash in the bins, and the spray painted trees, you might say, is this art? And I might say, no, it's trash. And you're going to make some more when you finish eating that, because you'll throw that little thing away into the bin maybe, or just on the ground, and more art will be made out of trash. There's nothing against trash, because it's a whole lot of comics are trash, and graphic novels are trash, and manga are trash. But it doesn't matter, because people love trash. They love junk. They love residue. Why do you think there's so much junk in the world? Because people love making junk. They say, oh, I'm throwing it away. They don't throw it away, they hoard it. You've got piles of things, piles of things. When you die, what are you going to do with them? Nothing. You're gone.
You're gone.
Someone's got to get rid of all your crap. And then say, put it here, make it art. The art of trash. Look at that beautiful mountain of trash in that bin over there. Let's spray paint all the trash.
Exactly.
So it looks like art.
So it looks like art.
Well, I like Banksy very much, but I don't like taggers very much. I like people who are illegal, but I don't like people who are destroyers of beauty and harmony. So it's not people so much. It's the habits we've been told are art that are not art. It's the doppelgangers and the simulacras, the pretending people who say, look, I'm an artist. I can fuck whoever I like. I can do whatever I like. I'm an artist, okay? Well, they're not an artist. They're a fraud.
Oh.
They're a fraud. Absolutely.
I was just watching a thing on Genius about how Picasso was just fucking anything. So apparently he wasn't an artist?
No, I've been to his house. I've been to his house, and I really agree that he was an artist, but he was also a fucker. Salvador Dali was a fucker.
Yep.
You know, he was an artist, but a fucker. I went to Salvador Dali's house. All these big eggs and Al Capone's Cadillac and a whole castle full of his incredible art and his tarot deck. But he was still a fucker. You know, he took a poet's wife. He took Alouard's wife, who became his Gaia, his muse. Now that's a fucking thing to do, isn't it? Now really, if you want art, and I know you hunger for art, and you think this is art, this is not art. This is trash. This is pollution. This is just spray, paint, chemical, fill up your lungs with the ozone layer, drink from a plastic bottle and throw the crap away. Now that's what's really happening, okay? Pretend you're progressive and you're in the art anarchy of Austin. Bullshit. Fact is, we're all just sucking at the great tit of consumerism. Even if you're not buying enough from the van there or buying the fake art over there,
you're buying the spray cans.
You're buying the spray can that kills your air inside your lungs. And you knew it, but you don't want to admit it, so you say, oh, he's just talking. Because words, no one trusts words anymore. They trust image, because image can be photoshopped. Image can be manipulated. Image can be digitalized. You can be digitalized. You'll be virtual soon. They'll have little simulacras walking down here, and they'll be saying, remember how beautiful the trash was? And you'll say, I wish I had trash like that. That bin looks so beautiful and colorful. It looks like the ice cream van full of colors.
And this is the end of National Poetry Month.
Yeah.
And the thing is that poetry was loved for I don't know how many years, and people would go together and two. I call them two. But then it was loved historically.
The row either, right?
Nah.
1897 and 1743.
Exactly.
And those were the two separate years. But it was actually something that people would go to and listen to because it was an art form and it has become lost. And so we have to do this so that people know that the spoken word means something.
And they're not listening. So
yeah, well.
It's a visual world. I acknowledge that. I look at people too as well.
And we came to a place that was a visual word. We came to a place where it was all about visual.
Yes, but...
And we're putting this in their face, and they're like, what?
Well, they're nicely smiling. Because in their heart they know,
smiling.
This is a fucking rip-off. Let's call it what it is. It's a small place where real estate allowed a junkyard to happen for a short time and said you're free to be a witness of the junk and document the junk and be part of the junk and make sure you take lots of selfies, you outside the junkie.
You have been here longer than me. Has this gone on for the whole 15 years that you've been here, do you know of?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I've
it's been
many
around.
times.
They've allowed this space for this to happen, and somebody's
well, only because they couldn't find a use for it, and the person was benign, the owner of the property was benign. You know, now they're going to have high-rise condoms everywhere. Fuck the city. It's just all, but you know, focus on the fact that we know we're in a trash heap. You're sitting on a trash heap. We're making photographs of trash heap, but we're making art as well. Now the word is often the lie, but the eye lies more than the word.
See, this is why I feel bad, because I'm just coming up here and reading poems. But I think it's so awesome that I get the interjections, and he won't hold the spray can bottle,
No.
which I took pictures with it, and of course it wasn't one that I was using, but I'm like, I will pose with it and cover stuff up, so why not? I will share a few with you from chapter 38, which is about performance art shows, and these are poems from the show Stop. This one's called Never Did the Same. We've put each other through hell, I know. We've tried each other's patience. We've goaded each other on. We've pissed each other off. We've jerked each other around. But I've noticed two things. One is that whenever you were unhappy, I turned on the charm. I tried to make your day. I tried to make you laugh. And the other thing I noticed is that you never did the same for me.
Oh, monster. Who was that monster?
I'm not saying it because it's on video.
Oh, okay, right.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it.
He's dead to me.
Well, I'm gonna do this one just because it'll sound nicer. This one is all these reminders.
Yeah.
Look over here in the living room. You left an empty bottle of beer on the end table. The cap, too. And come here, follow me, over here, in the kitchen. Look here, see? You left some of your food in the pantry. A box of spaghetti, some canned tomatoes. And come here, over into the bathroom. I know you probably won't notice this, but here, this towel, it smells like you. It smells like your shaving cream. And I could swear the crumpled bed sheets are still warm for you. Why did you have to go? Why does it have to seem so hard? Oh, okay. Look over here. The remote for the television is on the arm of the chair where you always leave it. And the cocktail table, it's pushed forward on one side because you always want to rest your feet on it. Everywhere I look around me, I see something that you affected. I look in the kitchen. I look in the dining room. I look in the mirror. Why did you have to do this to me? Why couldn't you have made a clean break? There's still some of your messages scribbled on scraps of notepaper next to the phone in the kitchen. And look, this pillow on the couch, it's bunched up a certain way because you can never get comfortable with it. And over here, the phone book is out on the kitchen counter. You never put them away. And there they are, still sitting out. And I have to put them back in the cabinet. And look, here, why do I have all of your love letters stuffed in drawers under my desk? When you left me, why did you have to leave me so many reminders? I'm going to do two that are great things about relationships and how things can be so wonky, I guess. This first one is called Who You Tell Your Dreams To. We were driving down the freeway, you and me in your pickup truck, and your girlfriend in between where you could move that gear shift and it would mean so much to you. And you saw something that you thought was beautiful, and you said, oh, look at the lines, look at how it was made. And you were inspired by the beauty of an everyday object that no one else noticed. And your girlfriend, riding in the middle, said, well, that's him. People think he's crazy. And I thought, no, it just depends on who you tell your dreams to. But I couldn't say it in the truck. I wouldn't say it. Went out for drinks together, you and me and your girlfriend, to a restaurant in Malibu with a balcony that hung over the water. Had a perfectly lovely time, you and me and your girlfriend, talking about life, catching up, and you suggested that we go out on the balcony. And I thought that would be charming for you and me and your girlfriend, but we hadn't paid our bill yet, so your girlfriend told us to go on without her. We stood outside, leaned on the rail, you and me, listened to the water crash on the rocks below us, and we talked. But now it was not about catching up, you and me. It was about ideas, dreams, plans. And before I knew it, we would talk for nearly an hour. And I said, well, what about your girlfriend? She's been waiting for us all that time. And you said, oh, yeah, and didn't move an inch. I guess I moved, I go away. Your turn.
Well, you sometimes wonder, don't you? Why exactly do people gather? They think they're looking at art, all right? That's fine, it's temporary, it's all going to go in time. We're going to take this place up and take it somewhere else that we're never going to go to. So while we're here, we want to witness the selfie generation.
The selfie generation!
This is a photographic exhibition of people taking photographs of each other, taking photographs of what they think is art. It's a third-dimensional holographic presentation of what used to be human beings. But now, we have the technology to make sure that we are replaced and replaceable by images that are replaceable every day. The beautiful thing about this is temporary and transitory. The beautiful thing about it is it's ugly. It's ugly. Do you find any beauty in this mess? That's what I mean. Look at it completely. A painted bush?
I was thinking of painting my walls to look like this.
And all these painted trees, that's not right. Nature doesn't do that to you. Nature doesn't spray paint you or hold you with plastic in your hand. No. What are you doing here? You didn't do it. People did before you.
I brought silver cream, and I'm like, I'm not going to bother.
It was a pilgrimage, as if it was significant. It is not significant. The only significance of this event, apart from her interrupting me, is the fact that this is allowed temporarily. It is temporary. What you're seeing here will not last. So take your photographs as many as you can.
Because
this is an historical episode. It will never happen again in Austin. Austin used to be, once upon a time, do you remember Austin? Stevie Ray Vaughan and Janis Joplin? Does anyone remember tie-dyed 60s? We weren't here then, you weren't born then. But we're here now, in the middle of this junkyard, this trash heap, this detritus, this mountain of crap. And that is what passes for art in 2018. And people come from all over the world just to say, I went to the Cathedral of Junk, and I went to the wall that was painted, and they're going to take it away, and we'll never be as free again. You never were free. This is just an illusion, a temporary illusion. Long live the temporary. Nothing is permanent. Long live your human art.
I have always said
Yes.
that Austin was a really cool place to live before people found out it was a cool place.
Before people thought it was a cool place.
Waterloo. And there's Cherokee here, and there's native people.
Well, okay, I'm not that old.
Oh, no. No.
I was here, though, for the Armadillo World Headquarters.
Excellent.
I was here.
Front line.
Yeah.
Much respect for ancestors.
For the 60s and 70s.
That was really cool. It was harder because there was resistance. People didn't want to know about long hair and other flamboyant affectations. Really? Oh, you were
Because
here,
it was
you were
Austin
not.
here.
No,
And it was all good.
I was
Better.
in Houston,
Yeah.
and, and the first time that I drove people to the polls was 72 for George McGovern.
Oh, yeah. Right. Give it a try.
Here I am, and it's sort of like giving me my life of being. I'm still marching,
Yes.
And
Well, to me, you're the true spirit of Austin. The spirit of joy, inquisition, curiosity, delight, love of art, love of people, music. That's what defines me. People say Austin has two meanings. The quality of the water, which has natural lithium in it, it sedates everyone, and the quality of the people.
I thought that all water was supposed to taste like swimming pools because I came from Houston. So when I got up
Thought it was
here,
chlorine filled?
so I got up here and it all tasted kind of like
Water.
No, you know what W.C. Fields said that fish do in it.
That's right. He's right.
Exactly.
They do that.
Fish poop.
Yeah,
And
you
it
never know.
tasted like the fish to me.
And it did, salamanders.
But I do have to say
Yeah.
that I don't know that art can be.
Yes, it can. I'm a poet. My job is to make things up. And I've been making this stuff up all my life.
And I make things up too.
Good.
And just to let
So,
you know,
art
we're
can
here
be
right now
defined.
today for the last Sunday in April because it's National Poetry Month, and this is the Poetry Bomb. We're going someplace where you normally don't hear poetry, and we're using the written word just to be able to share things, and that's what this is all about. Hey, he's got paper for you.
Your poetry.
Thank
It's
you.
For
called
you.
poetry, woman.
It's all about the poetry.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank
a human
you.
being.
Thank you.
It's really
Oh, we're
good.
just all busy
I
thanking
do
each
that
other.
sometimes.
It's all we've got. Joy.
Always.
Oh,
Whichever
God.
one.
Now I'm going to try to read some poems.
Oh,
No, you're
Said
more
no.
than welcome to hang out.
grandchildren.
I don't know if we're going to make it there tonight.
I understand.
Just the way
I
I'm
know.
saying.
I know.
We're going somewhere where you normally
I
don't hear
really
poetry.
appreciate your
Scream out
presence
poetry.
yesterday. I knew you were in pain. Really.
That's what this is supposed to be
Just
about.
kept on. Really good.
At least that's what I hear. All right, I'm going to start with one that's called. Oh, I think I've read that one too recently. I'm not going to do that one. Go across country for a weekend and surprise her and see how she was doing. It was breast cancer, so it wasn't really, it was kind of like the best case scenario, I guess. But we just managed to put it out of our mind until we actually had to fly there. And the night before, I couldn't bring myself to pack. It was 2 in the morning when I finally pulled my suitcase out of the pantry shelf. I kept telling people at work, well, you see, I have to visit my mother because she has cancer, so I have to miss a few days of work. But I was always able to say it so matter-of-factly until I actually had to visit her. In fact, when my sister told me the diagnosis, it was right around Christmas time, and there was so much work to do, and I still had presents to wrap and a meal to prepare, and Christmas was supposed to be a happy time. And so I managed to postpone even thinking about it until we decided to surprise her for a visit. And then I had to pack, to decide what to take and what to leave behind, put my life into a little black box with a handle and wheels and go. It shouldn't be this way. I knew that. I knew I shouldn't be visiting my mother under these circumstances. And I knew how she never wanted to think about bad things, especially because they always made her want to cry. And this would make her want to cry and cry because the only reason we were visiting her was because things were bad. But I wasn't supposed to think of things that way. Things were just supposed to be fine. So I finished packing at like 4 in the morning, and the next thing I remember is I was on a plane with my sisters, cracking jokes as we picked up the rental car and then we drove to Mom and Dad's house. And everyone was so happy to see each other. It was one big family reunion, and we were all laughing and talking and trying to figure out where we were all going to sleep. And the sisters and Dad walked in the front room to see if the couches were good enough to sleep on or if we'd have to get out an air mattress, and then I was alone in the den with Mom. So I suddenly became serious, and I sat down next to her and asked her if she was really okay, how she was really doing. And that is when she started to cry, saying that the cancer spread. But what she was most concerned about was that the fact that she didn't want to spoil the time that we had come to visit her with. But what I don't think she understood is that we couldn't have come at a better time, and nothing she could do would spoil our trip. By the way, she recovered from those 2 cancers.
So glad.
I wanted to let you guys know that. After like 7 years, like, you don't have to go back to the doctor anymore. You're fine for these things. You're okay. So
This is what poetry.
yes, but that's the thing, and because this is stories of life, that's what life does. And
Yeah.
So
I'm glad we can all do it.
exactly.
I'm so glad to have met you.
Well, I'm glad you beat me to it. If there's anything I can do, I don't know.
Actually entertaining.
Well, I'm glad I entertained you. I did. I see a piece of prose here that's called NASA Project. I haven't read this since 2001 for a 6/11 show in 2001. So we're going to see how it goes. It's just a piece of prose because it's all performance art stuff. I have always loved astronomy. Maybe because my name is Kuypers with the Kuiper bolt. I've always loved astronomy. And I got to a telescope that I had since I was a child. I remember tracking the motions of the stars on the horizon when I was 6 with my sister, when she took a high school astronomy class. I witnessed 2 comets. I've even had a star pass right through the base of the constellation Cygnus, and it was named after me. I've studied black holes, tried to learn more and more about astrophysics, the whole 9 yards. And I've noted that there are studies and possibly plans for NASA. After setting up a space station, they may be planning a colony on the moon for inhabitants, as a part of their test of stars to see that would also entail long-term effects on the changes of gravitational force on the human body. And I heard this. And it just, that there might be plans for living in the next, 20 years on the moon. And I thought, my God, I could do this. I would be perfect for this. But then I thought, wait, what would I do there? What would they actually want me there for? And I'm a journalist. I've written all my life, and I'm a designer. I mean, maybe my job could be cataloging all the things that are going on at the colony and to distribute news to the colony about what's been going on the moon, and maybe also even then about what's been going on Earth. And I like this plan. It would seem fitting, giving me occasional feeds through the occasional transmissions of information for me to pass on to the colony, and I would be cataloging everything that happened here on the moon for people on Earth to learn from, and it sounds like it would be perfect for me. And I thought, wow, I could disseminate all information to this colony of people on the moon. I could tell them anything. I mean, just think about it for a moment. I could tell them that they wouldn't be able, because they wouldn't have another source to use anything to prove me wrong. I could tell them they sang the national anthem for the president. No, really, I don't have that bad of a voice. Because these people would be living on the moon, and these people might actually believe me. I wonder if I had to write reports to send them back to Earth, would I have to be able to tell them about the hypnotic effects on the Earth light? Because, you know, everyone talks about how beautiful everything is in the moonlight. I might as well do the poem Moonlight, which follows it. Moonlight is a hypnotist, putting people in a trance. Whenever you look at it, it takes over your soul. No one can stop it, but no one wants to. Definitely. Enjoy with your family. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. That's why I thought I'd climb over here, because Prose could be here for as long as I wanted to. Because this is the Poetry Bomb. Dun dun dun.